Hello and welcome to a new tier list video. Today we're going to take a look at the Great League meta. Like, I want to rank the Pokemon that are currently available there. We have the S plus tier, which is basically the God tier, and those Pokemon are something that you definitely want to get. S tier, which is still a very good Pokemon, but maybe a little bit lower than those God tier Pokemon. A tier is still decent Pokemon that you use and see a lot of times in other teams. Anti-meta are Pokemon that kind of rare, but like have like a little bit more of a play still. Underrated are Pokemon that have next to like no play really, like you don't really see them a lot, but if you see them, they can be very scary. And went missing is Pokemon that have been really good in Global League before, are still very high on the rating, but you don't really see them at all anymore. So we're gonna start immediately. We're just not gonna talk a lot about it. We have like 60 plus Pokemon to rank here. First off, we're gonna go for the Venusaur. I put him into A+. It could be also S already. This thing is kind of common more recently in general. Got a lot of usage recently. And other Pokemon that is kind of underrated is the Pidgeot. This was like a common thing when it got the boost, but recently not really. It's a Pokemon that in my opinion kind of lost its potential was this Pokemon here with Nidoqueen. I would put him below the Venusaur. It was S tier before, definitely, but kind of recently lost a little bit of play from the new meta changes. An A tier Pokemon does definitely has to be the best Charmer in the game with the Ninetales, also really nice with the Powder Snow. Underrated Pokemon is also this Pokemon here. I think this has way more play than a lot of people expect. Wigglytuff. Having the normal typing helps you a lot against something like the Sableye, which also gonna be rated next, like in general, like soon. We have the Machamp next, which is something that went missing. Just isn't as good anymore, but like, it's still like playable. It's very playable. I played it during Go Battle Day as well, and it was nice. But it went missing. Like, I haven't seen a single one on my opponent's team before. This is basically the anti-meta Pokemon that you would expect, because like usually like, oh no, you say like it's toxic or whatever, but it's only really there because it beats G-Fisk and Azumarill. This is why it's there, and it's so good with the Bastion. When missing is this Pokemon as well. I wouldn't say it's underrated, it's just like not as good anymore with Dugong. Also when missing is Hypno, was also such a common Pokemon earlier days, but I don't really have seen this at all recently. This is something that's also either went missing or underrated with the Alone Marowak. I'm just gonna put it in low underrated. It's not really that common anymore, but if you place it, sometimes like it's really difficult to deal with. And we have our first S plus tier, one of the most neutral Pokemon in the game with Lickitung. It's so good. Like, it's definitely, if you can get one, you need XL. It's so amazing. I would say Lapras is underrated. Sometimes you see it in teams and it's really good. So I would put it like next to the Marowak. It's basically also lower tier in my opinion. Those Pokemon in the beginning have a little bit more play here. Mew kind of went missing as well, to be honest. It was more common before. I would say it may be still like A-, like at the end of it, but like Mew went kind of missing again, I would say. It definitely still has some play though. Like, I don't really know why it went missing, but like not a lot of people play it again. Speaking of when missing, Meganium was such a common Pokemon in the early days. It's still viable, like you can still definitely use it. It's still not bad, but like it just is basically outshined by the Venusaur, so you don't really have the option there. Another Pokemon that went missing, and I guess it's underrated as well. Like, those tiers are like kind of similar as well-ish, because all the Pokemon that are on the bottom tier still have some play. But Noctowl just got boosted this season, was really good in the beginning, but like nowadays you don't really see it that often anymore. Really cool against the Sableye because you're gonna beat this, also decent against other Pokemon. As Azumarill, I'm actually kind of wanted to put it into just normal S tier. I think it lost a little bit of its potential, and like in general it's still though so good though. I think otherwise people are gonna hate me. I have to put in S plus. But yeah, it was better like before. I think it kind of lost a little bit recently, but it's still definitely good. Politoed was also on the list for PvPoke for the top Pokemon there. And I would say this thing also kind of went missing. After the Weather Ball update, there's not a lot of reasons why you would run a Politoed. The Weather Ball had to get nerfed. So like you kind of lost a lot of potential with this thing again. Underrated is gonna be the Jumpluff nowadays. I think it's like has a little bit more play than Tropius in general, the shadow version of Jumpluff now with the C-Day, but only as a closer. So yeah, we have a lot of Pokemon on the bottom tier. Like, you don't see those Pokemon at all, like in general. Like, you don't really see them at all really in Great League anymore, sadly. So Like this went missing and underrated tiers kind of similar to each other. We have the another A tier in my opinion. The NiRiain kind of lost also a little bit of the play, but it's still very, very nice. It's still like such a good tier. You could put it next to S tier. I think it would be a little bit lower than the Venusaur, but kind of a little bit higher than the Nidoqueen right now. Underrated and also kind of anti-meta is this Magcargo. I actually would put him into kind of anti-meta. Like the thing with Magcargo is you completely hard beat the Venusaur, you hard beat the Ice Fairy with the 9 tails, you completely destroy the Skarmory, which you have next, which is still S tier in my opinion. I wouldn't put it S+, but it's definitely S tier. You completely destroy us with this, so it's like kind of new anti-meta Pokemon. I definitely want to try it out a little bit more, Magcargo. Especially together in a core with the Jumpluff, it looks so good. Lugia has something that's underrated. Main reason for this is just because a lot of people don't have it. I played it a lot and like it's actually really good. I have a Shadow one, I have a non-Shadow one for Great League. Both are really fine. Another S tier, it has to be S tier, is just Swampert. Didn't get the nerf from Weather Ball because it doesn't have Weather Ball, it just has Hydro Cannon, which is even stronger. So like it still deserves the S rank together with Skarmory, which is still such a good core. And basically the definition of a went missing is this little dude, like, yeah, you don't see him at all anymore. Like, I don't know, like it was so common in the early days because of Caleb Bang. It's still highly rated on PvPoke, but you don't see it anymore. It's nowhere. Same with this dude here, Pelipper. Got nerfed from the Weather Ball, went missing immediately. Like it needed those 5 extra damage to do anything in the meta, so now it's completely gone. It's kind of sad. The next Pokemon that's kind of higher than it like should be in terms of usage. You don't really see it that often, but if you play against it, it's so good all the time in any meta anyway. This is of course only for the Great League here, but I have to put it like close to the NiRiain with the Vigoroth here. It's still so good. Counter plus Body Slam on this Pokemon. The stab Body Slam in general is so strong. Next Pokemon, another S+ tier in my opinion, gonna be the Sableye. I would put it higher than the Azu. I would actually put it in the top tier here right now. It's just so good. You can play it in every position, like doesn't matter where you play it. It's always so good, especially as the XL. You need to return on it, but this is just such a safe Pokemon. It's like nearly on every team. It's like such a viable Pokemon that you can put nearly on every team. Anti-meta, of course, gonna be the little boy here. What's it called? Poké. Exactly, this is anti-meta. It still definitely has some play. You see, like it would beat the Venusaur, it would beat the NiRiain, it would beat the ice types. Like it has a lot of play. The thing is, it also has a lot of Pokemon that hard walls it. For example, Azumarill. The other thing is, it doesn't really take that many moves, which is like kind of a problem because even I think a Venusaur would do a lot of damage with resisted moves because like you have to farm down first. So yeah, this Mawile is a little bit. Yeah, it's an anti-meta, but you don't really see it that often. But if you, sometimes you can get really caught off guard with that. Next up, we're gonna have another S tier plus. In my opinion, this thing got a lot of buff recently because of the Walrein meta, which also we're gonna have later on the Walrein, I think. So yeah, like this thing definitely S plus. Another S to A tier. This is for me, this is like kind of the weird thing. I don't like this Pokemon that I see that it should be S tier in terms of moves. Instead, it has with the Altaria, because Altaria, like it just hard walls, for example, Swampert, or like in general, it has so much potential still. Even against resisted Pokemon like a Registeel, you're gonna be able to do a lot of damage, which is crazy. And yeah, like this thing gonna be amazing, or like it's in general still amazing. I just don't like to play it because it gets hard-walled by Azumarill, it's hard-walled by any fairy type. So for me, it's always a Pokemon I kind of try to avoid. Maybe I should try to play it again. Something that's again a little bit underrated and easier to play is a Wishcast. That didn't really lose any potential recently. Still a very viable Pokemon. Would actually put it like above the Pidgeot, I think. Definitely a cool Pokemon, definitely works still. Something that went missing still is not bad with that, but it just went missing from being completely meta is Tropius. Haven't seen it at all really recently. They're not really a thing anymore. Of course, they have no Jumpluff as well, which is basically similar to it. We will see which gonna get used more. Jumpluff has better bulk, has stronger charge moves, but like not like in general you don't have a bait move with it. Well, this has a bait move and like Leaf Blade, which is like one of the strongest quick move, charge moves. So like yeah, I guess both are kind of similar. So they're also very close to each other as well. Another S tier plus it has to be. I would put him below those 3 first. Walrein, I don't think Walrein is as good as people say it is. It's still S tier plus, like I don't say it's like bad or anything, and this is just not as good as those Pokemon before in my opinion, but also all those Pokemon before and also the one behind them profit from XL candy, which Walrein doesn't. Walrein is just like its normal form, which is cheap to build and very accessible, so a lot of people have it, and that's also why you see it that often. I think it's just like the only really up there that doesn't need XL candy. Regirock is something that I have to put in underrated. This thing is super highly rated on PvPoke, like top 20. And like you don't see it at all, like nobody plays it. I don't know, maybe I should try to play it again. I mean, it has play against like basically all of the Pokemon on top other than Medicham, all of the Pokemon in the S tier other than Swampert. So I guess it has always some play. You don't want to run Earthquake, by the way, or run the normal moveset. This Pokemon here is potentially S+. We don't know yet. We haven't had the chance to play the Registeel yet, so I'm gonna put it S+, right? Like at the top of the S tier yet. This definitely could be S+. Like definitely something that you want to invest in. Well, Zap Cannon got a huge buff, so very cool Pokemon there. Something that is a little bit anti-meta in my opinion, but also underrated. I think it's more underrated than anti-meta is the Jirachi. I will put him like a little bit higher also to the legendaries in general. I love Jirachi. Jirachi in Great League, one of my favorite Pokemon. Doom Desire plus Confusion, such a nice, like in general, such a nice combination of attacks. Very cool Pokemon, I love it, one of my favorite. Another S tier plus is also something where I don't need XL, but recently, like this thing was lower, the Deoxys defense definitely was lower before, but recently got boosted because of the Walrein meta. Like Walrein meta basically got Deoxys defense up in S tier plus again, so that changed a little bit. Before it was still S tier, but like right now it's definitely one of the best Pokemon you can use, so yeah. The next Pokemon is something that is a very low A tier in my opinion, but definitely still very cool and viable. It's the Empoleon. Empoleon kind of lost again as well from the Nidoqueen nerf, from basically the other Pokemon that are now in the meta. For example, like Nidoqueen loses to the Walrein, which nerfed it, loses to the Sableye, which got more common, and also to the Deoxys defense with a Psycho boost, so that's why it lost a little bit of potential. Same with the Empoleon, so I would only put it like low A tier. It was really good at one point, like 1 season ago, but kind of recently dropped a little bit. So yeah, it has a very nice typing. It's one of the best typings in the game now. Bastion is something that I actually wouldn't put into S or plus or S anymore. I would only put it in like top 8 here. It seems like a little bit weird because everybody hates about Bastion. Yeah, it hard counters like 2 of the Pokemon or whatever. It's still a decent Pokemon, but you have like, for example, Registeel, just 1 Focus Blast gone. Your Swampert completely gets towards the Bastion. You have Medicham completely towards the Bastion, and it's only neutral against most of the Pokemon in the top tier, or like loses against them as well. Like it's not good against the top tier Pokemon. It's good against the other Pokemon. It has a very nice stats, but a lot of Pokemon just hard towards this, and I don't actually see the problem with Bastion as well. Like a lot of people hate this Pokemon. I don't really see the problem. It's not that good anymore. Like in general, the meta is very decent against it, so it's not really that nice. This thing here, Pachirisu is underrated because not a lot of people have it, but it's not really that good. But I mean, it's high on the ranking, so I had to include it. I think it's also like top 20. Another A tier Pokemon here is definitely going to be the Drapion. Got a nice boost with the Poison Sting boost, and Crunch now debuffing also helped it. I would put it actually above the Nidoqueen. Definitely something where it deserves. Another anti-meta Pokemon here is the anti-fighting Pokemon that's still fighting type with a Toxic Rogue. A little bit worse than Medicham right now. Like it's still a viable Pokemon because he beats still a lot of Pokemon, and here the poison typing helps a lot. Counter Mud Bomb and Sludge Bomb is a very cool coverage, and definitely a nice Pokemon still. Not as good as it was before, but still a nice anti-meta Pokemon because of the coverage you have. We have a Pokemon that went missing again. Where is Abamas now? Did someone see him? Weather Ball nerf kinda completely ruined this Pokemon as well, just like basically nearly everybody down there. It's kinda sad. Another Pokemon that I think is underrated right now, and I guess it's also anti-meta with that, is the Gliscor. Gliscor has the option to beat Medicham kinda-ish, if it doesn't have Ice Punch, I guess. Has play against nearly everything in the meta. Of course now Walrein kinda is a bigger deal for it, but has with the Night Session Earthquake very nice coverage against the main meta. I played this before and has so much potential in Great League and Ultra League right now. I think Gliscor from the current meta got a lot of like potential there. Something that's more went missing as well. Frosters was actually a thing for a longer time, but like kinda went missing as well. Very nice neutral side swap, but not good anymore really because of Sableye and stuff, so not really that nice. This is like a high A tier again with the Cresselia. I would put it like somewhere at the Vigoroth range. I would put it maybe a little bit before that. Very nice bulk, very nice Pokemon. A Pokemon that also kind of went missing, but is also still A tier in my opinion, is the Superior. The Superior has superior bulk towards the Venusaur, so there kind of wins a little bit. And next up we're gonna have another C-Day Pokemon with the Samurott. Samurott completely went missing. Like this thing was a thing after the C-Day for like a week or two, and then people stopped using it again because like it wasn't as good as Swampert, so why the hell would someone use it? Another S-tier pick is definitely that Scrafty kind of got more potential recently thanks to the meta change. Also the cool thing about Scrafty is just the typing, good against the Sableye, good against the Lickitung, good against the Walrein. Next Pokemon, another hype Pokemon from like last season is Kofagrigus. It kind of went missing as well, but it's still like I see still some people play with it. I would put him like around the range here-ish in A tier. It's not as good because it needs like a bait move, but it's a very strong Pokemon still that has a lot of potential. I think the A tier is still like such a nice viable tier here, but like just not as good as the first two. And the next Pokemon I have to say is also not S tier or S plus anymore. Jellicent kind of lost as well like some of the potential it has before. Also because of the Sableye being a thing and the Lickitung being a thing. I would put it a little bit higher than most Pokemon here. I would put it like in 4th place, I think. I think that's a very nice way to put it. Another anti-meta Pokemon gonna be the Garventula. Had been a thing before. I saw it still a few times. Very nice anti-meta Pokemon, very more attack weighted. So, but you see, like for example, in the first category, destroys Medicham, has play against Sableye, has play against Lickitung, destroys the Walrein, destroys Azumarill, destroys Medicham. So very nice anti-meta Pokemon there. Another A tier, which I think has a lot more potential than people really see, gonna be Ferrothorn. I put it like between the Vigoroth and the what's it called? The Cresselia. I played the Vigoroth and the Ferrothorn together in a team with Talonflame on the lead. So I really like those Pokemon in general as well. Very nice Pokemon. Another S tier plus has to be the G-Force still. It's still very good. I think it kind of lost a little bit as well, so I would put him lower, but it's still definitely a very good Pokemon and very usable. Like there's nothing to say about it. Same for Mandibuzz, even though Mandibuzz also lost a little bit of potential recently, so I'm just going to put him lower as well. Maybe actually put him lower than the Umbreon. The thing is now, those are kind of decent together, but like you had the option with the Mandibuzz to counter fighting types, while nowadays you have the Walrein, where the Umbreon would be better. So they're basically now at the same tier in my opinion with A. They both kind of lost some potential, but they're still kind of decent. Another anti-meta gonna be the Swilus. Swilus, very cool Pokemon, still has a very unique typing. Gets hard-walled by the fairy types, but with Dragon Breath and Body Slam has a very, very nice combination there, and Dark Pulse for Nuke. Very cool Pokemon. Usually better in like restricted metas, but for example, it's very good against Sableye and has a lot of potential as a meta, like as the anti-meta Pokemon there. For example, like the double dark teams that were around with like Umbreon and Mandibuzz would be very nice for Swilus to beat. Then we have the Diggersby. It's a little bit underrated, to be honest. I think it's still a very cool Pokemon. It's such a bulky Pokemon. Like stat-wise, it's definitely top tier, but sadly, otherwise it's not really. So, like the typing is not the best for the current league. but still a very cool Pokemon. We have Talonflame. Talonflame definitely A tier as well for me, a little bit lower to be honest, but definitely has a lot of potential, and I play it a lot in Great League and have a lot of fun. Another Pokemon that went missing gonna be this Malamar. Was like hyped in the early seasons, but like then again like when it basically got introduced, and then it kind of completely crumbled apart because it gets hardwalled by the fairy types. Was still higher on the list, that's why I put it. Like I usually use the UP poke test for this tier list. We have the Dragalge, also went missing. Like I haven't seen a single one for ages, and was like very common earlier on. I guess also because of the Walrein. Walrein just destroys it. We have another S tier plus, which gonna be the Trevenant. I would put him lower than the Walrein and lower than the Azu, but higher than the Deoxys. I think it's very well put there. We have a nice Squirrel next, which is definitely underrated, and I would put him above our Diggersby. They kind of look similar, but I think Diggersby is a little bit lower rated. This thing is such a nice say swap. Like there is not a lot of things that can say swap into the Squirrel. Even like fighting types get a lot of damage from the body slam spam that this thing has. Has a very nice moveset, has a lot of bulk, so the Squirrels are very, very nice. We have the Duck here, which I'm gonna put at the end of A tier. I saw a lot of people actually using this and hitting legend moves. The Duck only lives from its coverage. Having Leaf Blade plus Night Slash is very nice for Surfetch, so this is it. And we have the last Pokemon, which I'm gonna put into anti-meta. Gonna be the Obstagoon, and that's gonna be this tier list here. This is, in my opinion, how the Great League meta is at the current stage of the game. A lot of Pokemon just completely went missing. Some Pokemon are still underrated but usable. A tier is like a tier which I really like to get Pokemon from and just use them. And of course the first top tier Pokemon would be like the Pokemon that you kinda want to expect in, for example, those big tournaments that are coming up. Very, like, yeah, that's basically the tier list that I think of. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.